All right, back in team. If you can please bring in Brett. Oh my God, you're there. Awesome.
Hello, hello, hello.
All right, awesome. Hey, we're right on time. What a great session. This is a blast. We'll continue to do this. All right, so Brett Schklar, and I think I'm saying it right again,
You
right?
got it.
All
You
right,
got it.
I've been Schklart. Brett, you're the author of AI Without the BS, which, if you haven't read it yet, our audience, the title alone tells you what you're getting. I do have a copy of the book. Thank you very much, Brett. Brett, actually, hey, I'm gonna let you introduce yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And then let me go ahead and share my screen here. Some fantastic and fun content. And so if everything looks good on your end, give me a thumbs up here, Chris.
Awesome. Hey, I'm gonna go into the backstage, but
Okay,
yeah, please introduce yourself and then take it away.
perfect.
All right, see you on the other end.
All right. So, hello everyone, and so glad to be a part of this and to be welcomed in by the group by the Boulder SEO. I know this is an incredibly important topic around AEO, GEO, and how the world is really moving so fast that we almost can't keep up, but we're going to do our best. Now, a lot of people that are going to be a part of these panels today are going to share some really good on the ground technical insights that are going to really help people out. I want to bring things up to a 10,000-foot level view and share what I've been learning. And let me dive in. You're hearing so much about AI. It's in all the news. It's on all your podcasts. It's on all of your reels and your scrolls and your feeds and all of these different things. It's everywhere. But as CEOs and business leaders and marketing leaders, how do you know that good stuff? That game-changing insight from all of that BS, the bad stuff. Well, unfortunately for you, I know a thing or two about BS because my name is Brett Sklar. And I've learned a lot about the process and the art and the science of AI adoption over the last 18 months. And in fact, during that time, I've been lucky enough to have conversations and interviews and conduct surveys with over 1,400 CEOs and business leaders to date. I think we're at about 1,426 so far. And I took all of these learnings, and as Chris had mentioned, excuse me, I wrote a book about it. It's called AI Without the BS, the CEO's Playbook for Actually Getting AI Right. And I'll put a link to the book in the resources here for you so that you'll have it. I'll also provide a couple other resources for you. But I want to share with you the stuff that I'm learning after not only talking to a lot of CEOs and business leaders, but I myself am a CEO of a fractional CMO company where we've got 30 fractional CMOs. And I was very fortunate that in a past life, I scaled up, and then I sold a B2B marketing agency that I had a lot of fun growing and scaling over a 13-year period. So let me tell you where we are right now with the AI adoption in the world. And I work with early stage companies, I work with small businesses, I work with mid-sized businesses, as well as small enterprises. And let me tell you one big thing I have learned. We have a fear of AI. And I'm not talking about you and me and the people that are on this call that are here to learn and educate ourselves. You're actually ahead of the curve. But most people have a true fear of not only what AI will do to them, but how it will affect their lives. And they are deer in the headlights. They are afraid to move forward. And I'll give you some reasons why. I'm not sure if many of you have actually read or learned, and sorry, I've got some slides not moving forward, but here we go. The first time humans were ever introduced to the concept of AI was a German silent film from 1927 called Metropolis. 1927. That means for almost 100 years, The concept of AI has been in our orbit and it's been in our ethos, and it has taught us to fear AI. How about this little independent silent film called The Terminator? AI wins, the humans lose. It's game over, man. We really thank you a lot, James Cameron, for scaring the crap out of us. Or how about getting a little bit more scared? Humans become the batteries to power the AI machines for a future that's so dystopian that we don't even want to live in that world. We want to live in a dream world. Makes us think we should have taken that blue pill instead of the red pill, huh? And in some cases, AI has even invaded our steak sauce. So most people are living in this world of fear of AI. And it has a lot to do with Hollywood and it has a lot to do with a lot of the horror stories that we hear, hallucinations, people making things that seem too much AI and it doesn't feel human at all. But I'll tell you a good reason why a lot of people in the business world are afraid of AI. And in fact, a lot of you have probably seen this report, but MIT came out with a research study about 4 or 5 months ago that said that 95% of generative AI pilots are failing. 95% are failing. And a lot of it has to do with a key problem that I see and I try to get companies to avoid. And it's this: when someone starts to learn, or a CEO or a business leader starts to learn about AI, the first thing that they want to do is they want to give the AI project to their IT department. And that's one of the biggest reasons why it fails. Now, a lot of you may be smaller and you don't have an IT department. A lot of you may, have a very innovative IT department. But in the bigger companies where IT is leading the charge with AI, we are seeing not only failure of the innovation, but we're seeing a failure of adoption of people. Now, most of my friends, I'm a nerdy software guy. I love the developer community. I do believe that a strong, sound IT infrastructure will help a business make sure that they stay solid for a very long time. But it's not fair to the IT departments to lead the charge when it comes to AI initiatives. They can't keep up, but it's by design. Their job is to maintain control, stability, security, and privacy. And the stuff that we're doing in AI, it's kind of exactly the opposite. It's all about experimentation and growth. And those things don't mix. So I want to head into a couple of things that I see specific to organizations, who's doing a better job with adopting AI. And I think you'll not be too surprised by some of this, but I want to give you some really, strong, solid, concrete data points. But before I do that, please, any questions you have, any thoughts you have, any comments, any disagreements you have with me, I would love you to put those in the comments or in the Q&A session so that we can discuss those. And I want to make sure that we leave time at the end to answer some of those questions that come up. I know it's really important for people to not only hear what I have to say, but I also want to hear what you have to say or what questions you have. So please, ask those questions, put comments in, and we will spend the last 10 or 15 minutes going through some of those things. So, where are we seeing the positive returns on AI initiatives? Well, it's probably no surprise to all of you who are on this call, who are taking the initiative, who are learning from Chris and from the team at Boulder SEO about how to adopt and deploy and optimize yourselves for this. In all the companies I work with, marketing is really well ahead of the curve. They've been using generative AI since before generative AI was one of the cool kids on the block. They've been using AI for content creation. They've been using AI behind the scenes with some of the marketing tools that they've used, whether it's design tools or content tools or marketing automation tools. AI has been around long before generative AI came about. The biggest difference between AI before generative AI and the AI after generative AI is that most of us, once generative AI came about, November 20, November of 2022, when ChatGPT came about, AI was something that only developers and really smart people and scientists and academia were able to get their hands on. But with generative AI, we could all get our hands directly onto the ability to use AI. And so marketing is really ahead of the curve in all of this. Sales is actually in the last, I would say 3 months, has gone from 1.2x to 1.9x. They're getting the memo. They're realizing that there's a lot of positive impact in drafting the emails for their prospects and automating emails. One of the best returns we see is when sales organizations have to rely on the RFP process, or the request for proposal process, which normally is long and intense and can take months. But now using generative AI, RFPs can be responded to within hours, if not minutes. That's really changing the game and changing the formula for success. HR is adopting. Finance is very slow to adopt, but I believe that's for very good reasons. Finance relies on spreadsheets, it relies on data, and there's not a lot of power yet in data other than analysis, which is where we're seeing it show up in operations. And because we work with over 1,300 or almost 1,400 companies, and it's across a lot of different industries, operations can mean a lot of different things. And then I know a lot of you are CEOs and owners or independent consultants, and you're definitely using this to your advantage a lot. So we're seeing 1.8x return on AI when CEOs are starting to use a lot of this stuff. So that's one of the most important things I track, and this is one of the things I share with the community and with the world, is how are people not only using AI and using it, but using it for business benefit or getting their returns, getting that ROI on AI. And this is what I think turns it from failed science experiments, which is what a lot of AI has been, into a positive outcome for a business to deploy, monitor, and manage AI. So I hope that's helpful. I hope that gives you some good lens or good view of where we're at with things. A lot of you probably don't know this CEO. His name is Micah Kaufman, but many of you know the company he's CEO of. And Micah actually said something a few months ago. So if you're not familiar with Fiverr, it's a marketplace of human people, human resources that can, for very low cost, can do a lot of things. They can design websites, they can design logos, they can design landing pages, and you can get things from $5 to $100 to a couple $100, and you're getting international resources at a very low cost. But AI is replacing his business model overnight. And when it comes to using AI, and when it comes to the thought of how you can impact your AEO and your GEO and your searchability in these new platforms, I think something that he said is really important. And he framed things in a really solid way. And what he said was, with generative AI, the easy tasks, they're becoming automated. You don't even need people to do those things anymore. But the hard tasks are now becoming the easy tasks. And those things that we thought were impossible tasks, the impossible things to do, they're not only possible, but they're doable. And people are doing the impossible because of generative AI. And his business model, he had to pivot. He's got to switch quite aggressively. And he's trying to conquer those hard tasks instead of the simple tasks. And he's trying to conquer those impossible tasks that we thought were impossible that now are not only possible, but doable. And I think that's a really good message. Automate the easy tasks, turn the hard tasks into easy tasks, and go after those impossible tasks because they're now very possible. But he's ahead of the curve. Most people still fear AI, and you have the opportunity to eat it for breakfast. You are here because you probably are very interested in how to deploy GEO and AEO successfully. And Chris and his team have definitely shown us how that can be done. But you need to start auditing your AEO now because SEO has changed. Realize that AI won't take your job, but realize more importantly that if you're here, you're ahead of the curve and you're using AI. And so therefore you are probably going to replace the people who are afraid of using AI. It is a new fact that the people that are still afraid of using AI, that are resistant to using AI, they're not going to have a lot of success in the business world very, very soon. And it's not a question of if you deploy it, it's a question of how far can you take it. This is a race, and the race is on. And I'm going to tell you in a couple of slides some of the things that you can do to get yourself so far ahead of any competition, including and especially competing against big guys that are slow to operate. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity for you. So when we talk about getting those returns on AI, because you're here to learn how to compete, you're here to learn how to get yourself ranked higher. You're here to learn how to leverage AI to help your business or help your department or help your organization. And you should be. It's great that you're here. You're ahead of the curve. But I want you to make sure that you're tracking everything and looking at how do I get that return on AI so I can demonstrate we weren't just doing a bunch of science fair projects. We're actually doing this for the benefit of our business. So I want to talk about the 3 R's that I have to deploy that return on AI and your roadmap for implementation. First, I want you to think about how you can reinvent roles. The jobs that you had in 2023, the jobs that you had in 2024 are not only different in 2025, but need to be completely rewritten in 2026 to be prepared for what really is going to be the massive game changer, which is 2027. Rewrite the job descriptions. Think more strategically. Get people to work smarter and hard, but leveraging AI. Coordinate the campaigns. You need an AI prompt strategist more so than you need a project manager these days. Think about how you can automate the bottom 40% of the work that's done across teams. So audit that time, identify those automation opportunities, and start thinking about the roles very differently. The second thing you can do is rebuild support. One of the biggest things, and I meet with a lot of CEOs and I do it in groups of like masterminds of about 16 to 18 CEOs at a time. And the thing that CEOs really like to have as their ego and their confidence boost was the number of employees that they have on staff. It's bragging rights. The more employees, the bigger your kingdom, the bigger your confidence. That's different. That's changed. So stop thinking about headcount as a success factor and start thinking about AI driven systems as a success factor. Think about an agency with a freelancer with AI copilots. And I'm not talking about specifically Microsoft Copilot. I'm talking about the concept of copilots. Think of that as your new execution stack. You want the smarter partners over the warm bodies. And here's something that I think is really important. If you are going to pay third parties, you want to pay them to help you learn, not just for them to be the labor. That learning is going to take you so far. That learning is going to help you train your AI solutions so that you are more ahead of the curve as AI adoption takes off more aggressively. And I think that 2026 is the year of training your LLMs to get to know you really well and get to know your business really well, and training your teams to know how to do things with AI. Because 2027 is the year of the make or break for the people who have either adopted AI or haven't adopted AI. So the third R in getting to the return on AI, it's redefined the work. Think about what the new metrics are for the AI era. Speed is your friend. Now, don't sacrifice quality. Every one of your prompts, every bit of content, every action needs to be focused on quality. But if you're using AI and you're checking things to make sure the quality is there, your speed to market is going to be so much more impressive than any of your competitors. You are going to outflank them. So the cycle time to creativity is reduced, which reduces the cost per creative output. And the ROI measures the spend, but the return on AI measures the speed. So these are some really important factors. And if you've got questions about these, please put them up. We're going to give you plenty of time to ask questions as we are heading towards the edge of this conversation. So another thing, and I think again, I'm going to reiterate, Chris is putting together a phenomenal program. Chris's team has organized this incredibly well. And you're here because you know that this is the future. AI search isn't the future. It is actually happening right now. So because you're here, you're at the right place at the right time with the right people to do something about it. So I challenge you to do something about it. Do something about it now. Take this seriously because I work with companies who are still afraid to move the needle. I work with companies who still need committees to make decisions. I work with companies who still feel like humans are better at content than the partnership of AI and humans. And if you're taking this seriously and you're here to do something about it, do something about it and do it now. The other thing, and I hinted at this a little bit, and I know that this text is pretty small, but I'll put an attachment to this presentation in here so that you have it, a link to it, so that you've got this information at your fingertips. But one of the things I'm seeing, and one of the reasons why I'm really enjoying working with smaller companies rather than big companies lately, is the enterprise, the mid-sized markets, the larger companies, the bigger they are, the slower they are. And I think you all know, and you've all been around and know that big companies, they have approval cycles. They have committee paralysis. They are using legacy systems that they can't get off of. They are very averse to risk. And if you are moving more quickly and you are, whether you're a small business or a big business, but you're acting like a small business, you can move fast. You can direct that decision making. You can modernize your tech stack more aggressively, and you have nothing to lose. And I think that's a really important factor here. Your first mover advantage is the thing that's going to make you outflank the competitors, even the bigger ones. So in the AI era, speed matters more than the size of the budget. So use it wisely. And as we're wrapping up, okay, I think there's a couple other key things that I believe that will be of great benefit, and then we're going to get into the Q&A here in just a moment. But I want to iterate that you have this once in a lifetime moment where you can dominate AI powered search before your competitors catch up. This once in a lifetime moment is only probably 3 or 4 more months. If you're not taking action today, if you're not taking the guidance from the group of experts that Chris and team have brought together, you may already be behind by the end of the year. Your customers are watching. They actually want you to succeed. Your customers are moving to doing searches in Gemini. They're moving to doing searches in ChatGPT. They're moving to doing search in Perplexity. And they are watching and they want you to win. But if you're not there, you're not giving them a reason to choose you. The companies I work with, the leadership wants to know the AI strategy, but they also want to know that return on AI. And that's the measurable GEO results that I believe you have a chance to get once you learn a lot of this stuff today. Also, I want to challenge you to do something in the next 30 days. And I think Chris's team is phenomenal that's been built that can help you along with this. But I also think that you've got to do something. pick some assets, pick some landing pages, pick some things, and put 1,000% emphasis on optimizing that for GEO or AEO. Prove that concept, own that strategy, and you're going to see a lot of great results come about. And then the last thing here, I think, as far as taking action is I want to remind you back to what I first talked about, that fear of AI. You would be surprised how many people are deer in the headlights, frozen by their fear. They're afraid to make the wrong decision. They're afraid to choose the wrong technology stack. They're afraid to choose the wrong partner to help them move forward. And if you are taking action today, you're taking what Chris and the Boulder AI or the Boulder SEO group and what these experts are here to tell you. If you're taking that action, you are so much farther ahead. So with that, if you want to scan a copy, or if you want to, get a copy of the book AI Without the BS, I talk about a lot of these concepts. A couple of key things that I've talked about in the book. Um, I'm trying to help businesses a lot with not thinking about AI as some middle school science fair project or some cool new tech toy stack, but really a business transformation. My company, AI First Leadership, is here because we like to help companies not only reinvent themselves in the world of AI, but really rebuild what the organizational support structure needs to look like. What's the roadmap to AI mastery? One of the big concepts that we have is if you have a team of employees that are still fearful of AI by the end of 2025, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. There's no two ways about it. Not apologetic about it. If by the end of 2025, you have employees or you have team members or you have partners who fear AI or are pushing it to the side, thinking that it's going to go away or it's a fad, that's a failure point. That's an extreme failure point. And one of the key messages I have in the book is talking about Generation AI, a generation of people who know how to prompt, a generation of people who don't need to have as much industry expertise or as much customer expertise, but they do know how to ask the right questions, how to prompt in the right way. And they are studying new and innovative tools that can help them really get forward. The third thing that I think is really important in the book that I think is important for you right now. So we've all been following all of these AI tools and we've seen, ChatGPT come out with 5.0 and it's the next level and it really leaves all of the other competitors in the dust. And then they came out with Sora 2, which gives you video capability that was much better. And then a couple of months later, you have Google Gemini. They came out with Gemini 3 and their Veo 3.1 that did amazing work at videos. And their intelligence is actually a lot farther ahead than ChatGPT. And in some cases, I think it's actually made ChatGPT kind of dumber. So over the next year or so, you're going to see this leapfrogging and this evolution where there's different technology tools that are going to jump ahead of others. Don't let that anxiety set in with you. Don't get fearful or think that you made the wrong choice. Stick with some tools for at least 6 months or 9 months because this is a very fast changing world. Even though Gemini might be better than ChatGPT right now, if you're a Google environment and you're using Google Workspace, stick with Gemini. The adoption for you and the adoption for your company is going to be a lot better. If you're a Microsoft environment and you're using Microsoft 365, Copilot might feel behind because it uses ChatGPT as the back end. But they're going to do something very innovative and very impressive in the next 3 months or 6 months. All of them will. So don't let that AI tool or technology anxiety get you down. Stay the course, stay focused, and use the tools that are going to get you the best return on AI that you can possibly get. I'm looking forward to hearing some questions here, Chris. I hope that this has been a good use of everyone's time, and people have learned a little bit from this. And Chris, you're still on mute. There you go.
Yeah, so thank you. Awesome. Thanks so much, Brett. You can unshare your screen
Oh, absolutely.
so that we can be seen in a full glory. Thank you so much. And also thank you so much for jumping in on last notice. Unfortunately, Liam Lawson of the AI report came down with a terrible case of COVID. So I reached out to you yesterday. We spoke both at Digimarcon in Denver, and yeah, I knew you would put on a great session here. Thank you so much. Why don't let's take questions from the audience at Chidu maybe 1641. Sorry if I mispronounced that. I work in the residential cleaning industry where most websites focus on quotes and booking. We're considering gamifying the experience by letting customers earn points for local services like restaurants and yoga. You have me at yoga. I'm a big yogi. How do you think AI could help optimize SEO and GEO to drive organic content with this approach? Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great question, and I love the science and strategy of gamification. And so I think kudos to you for taking that approach. Just off the top of my head, one of the thoughts I have is there's a lot of really fun customer engagement contests and questionnaires and quizzes that people are doing, and they're using a well-informed LLM, large language model, to help like build those questions on the fly. And so I think what you're doing to really create that engagement, if you were to use like a well-trained, and that means you need to train your LLM really well to know your business, your customers, the benefits of what you do, what's unique about what you do. But if you trained your LLM, to understand you and what makes your businesses great, then I love the idea of using that gamification with AI on top that makes, the opportunity you have is there could be millions of different questions and contests and things that AI can come up with without you really having to do a lot of the work. So I think that's great. I think that, I see a lot of very smart AI chatbots added onto people's websites. And so I think if you created the game and made it a part of the AI chatbot, you're going to see a lot more engagement and a lot more stickiness with your customers, and probably attracting new customers because they'll like the game and like the fact that you and your business brought that to the table. So, yeah, very cool.
Awesome. And then definitely early to what you said, right? So I had a wake up call. I woke up in the middle of the night. I guess it was about a year plus ago now, where I realized that we were behind in terms of AI deployment at my agency. And I'm like, oh my God, why did we wait so long? So I spent the next 6 days prompt engineering. And then I took that to Daniel, who's going to do the next presentation. And I said, build me an AI system that does this, right?
Yeah.
And ever since over now, the year plus, we've, turned it into a full-blown GEO strategy. I think you're right. I think, and this is also what this summit is about, right? We want to educate people about the importance of get on it. Like if you're not on it right now, you're behind it. So this is critically important for people to understand that this is so important, and
Hmm.
it's a matter of, staying in business or going out of business, in my humble opinion. So, sorry, that's quick statement here. Another question from at
And by the way,
JSR61.
Chris, let me go back to that point
Yep.
for a second because I work with a lot of companies on the fractional CMO side, and there are a lot, lot of SEO companies who are still resistant to SEO. Their feedback is just keep doing what you're doing and Google will find you on Gemini, or just keep doing what you're doing and ChatGPT will find you. And they are wrong. And so what you're doing, how you're leading things, not everybody is doing that in the SEO world. So kudos to you for having that realization. Kudos to you for reinventing what we all need to do, which is modernize ourselves aggressively. And kudos to you for really, creating a community like this where you're helping lead that comfort and confidence for people who may not have that confidence yet.
Thank you. And also, I think this is a gold mine that we just found, right? Especially for smaller agencies like ours. We're a small shop, about, I don't know, 16 people or something like that.
Mhm.
We are getting clients from some of the best known agencies in, the US. I'm not going to name their names simply because we're so agile. If you're a smaller shop or a freelancer, this is the time to be successful and to
Yeah.
learn this. So hopefully you're learning new things that will encourage you to be very successful. So, we get a lot of questions here. Given the previous sessions focus on personalized content, how do you optimize lead gen landing pages? Brett, any tips, insights on how to create optimized lead gen landing pages?
It's really not there's probably people that are a lot smarter than I am about lead gen landing pages than I am. What I will say is um there are tools and there are systems to do highly customized activities. So for mid-market companies, there's a concept of targeted account selling called account-based marketing, where you can build these personalized URLs and personalized landing pages. And that's very important to help with conversion. With AI, I mean, you can hyper do this where every single contact in your CRM, could potentially have their own landing page and unique information about them. I'll give you one example is there is a company that, and I can't remember the name right now, but they use personality assessments, something called a DISC profile. And DISC profiles have been around for, many years, and it's DISC. And there's like, are you a D? Are you an I? You can be a capital D, lowercase I. And then there's like 30 variations and they have, names for them. But I use it when I am getting ready to talk with someone to look at what their personality profile is so that I'm better informed. And this tool, this system, and I'll find it and I'll send it to you, Chris, so you can share it with
Yeah.
your community. They actually can, if you're creating a personalized landing page, some people learn in different ways. Some people learn by video. Some people learn with bullet points. Some people need to hear the full story or see a full story. And so it takes the person's disc profile based on their LinkedIn profile, their Facebook profile, their Instagram profile, and sort of their activities and Google searches. So it knows about them. And it creates customized landing pages based on their personality and how they absorb information. Does somebody want short, bulleted, just the facts kind of thing? Or do people want longer stories or videos to go along with it? And then they can use AI to build the videos that are based on what's gonna connect with the person's personality profile. Now, this can feel a little intrusive, a little creepy, but it has been known to really increase conversions because you're using the psychology of meeting a person where they are, and how they learn, versus something that's generic that just has a customized name to it.
Awesome. And then we launched a quick poll there on the back end. So, A, are you running an agency? And then if so, have you deployed your own grown AI SEO tools, or you are using something off the shelf? It's in line with what I see when I speak at conferences, but 3 out of 10 said yes. So hopefully this is a wake-up call for you guys to really, if you want to stay in business, I think you need to get on it, right? And Daniel will show our methodology tool that we created. So hopefully that's a good starting point. Um, let's see. Um, Okay, let's see. We're launching GEO services soon to clients. So I assume, Mona, you run an agency as well. What do you think are one of the most impactful services we can offer besides the regular SEO services? So here at Bold SEO Marketing, my SEO, AI SEO shop, right, we'll offer probably GEO as a standalone service because more and more people are searching for it, right? We also content marketing, the search volumes are going up, right? Social is a very important part of GEO. As we mentioned earlier, Google Search Console is now rolling out as a standalone tracking feature for social. So if you're not offering social right now, that needs to be part of your overall services. And we actually use AI to create social based on the source content that we create. Again, Daniel's going to walk through our methodology. So you'll see exactly how that works. And that basically, I think, just copy our methodology and offer that. There's so much work out there. Luckily, not a lot of us are doing it the right way right now. So, yeah, Mona, I wish you all the best. Definitely keep in touch. We have a lot more resources actually on our YouTube channel. We just hosted that AI SEO webinar. So, definitely check that out as well. Then I think we have maybe one or two more questions. At Vicer Hat Tech, please, what do you mean by we need to train the LLM, large language model, to understand your customers or audience? Do you mean we should send a report about the company to the LLM? Brett, can you
Yeah,
explain? Yeah, that's a great
yeah,
question.
and so I think training an LLM. So LLM, large language model, it's basically the database that, these systems use. And hopefully you're using a paid version or a private version of your own LLM. And the more you share with it of your company, your customers, your win loss, what you won, what you lost, the employees, what's the vision and the values of your company? What's the mission of your company? Who do you believe that are your competitors? Think of this LLM as an employee, and your employees are only effective if they understand your business and they understand where you're wanting to go and what you're wanting to do. So I'll give you a really cool example of how I train my LLM for my company. A lot of these, generative AI tools, they have a voice assistant. Copilot has one, ChatGPT has one, Gemini has one, a lot of the others have one. And I now spend time, and I have a 30-person fractional CMO company, and I'm the one that really does a lot of work to make sure that we are, building a centralized and a strong value to our company. Um, I actually, whenever I go out, so I have a husky, he needs a lot of dog walks. And when I go out, what I've been doing is talking to my virtual generative AI voice assistant, talking about my business, talking about what's working, talking about what's not working. I am literally going on walks with my most productive employee ever, my generative AI system, and I'm teaching it what my business is all about. What's the vision? What's the customer feedback? What's going on? So at least 3 times a week, I have a 30-minute dog walk conversation with my voice AI assistant that feeds the entire company as far as the large language model. So when I say train your LLM, treat it like your most valuable employee. Train it like you would train employees. Talk to it like you would talk to employees. And whether you do it with voice, like what I really like to do in my spare time, or on drives, um, or you upload it with a ton of information, uh, you know, just training it, teaching it about your business, about your company values, about your company challenges, it will actually build a database that will help your business out more than you could ever imagine.
Awesome. Brett, that was fantastic. You delivered as promised on very, very, very last notice here. Brett, if anybody has questions, where can people find you? What's the best way to get in touch with you?
Yeah. So, definitely Brett at aifirstleadership.com is an easy one to go to. But I'll also put in the resources here. There's some links. I'll add a link to my LinkedIn profile. So connect with me and feel free to send me a message. I listen or I look at every message and I respond to every message.
Awesome. Hey, Brett, again, I greatly appreciate it. You shared amazing information. You are dismissed. We'll be in touch, hopefully soon again. That being said, Daniel, are you there? All right. Thanks so much, Brett.
Thank you.